Does it feel a little too close to home right now? Yeah. The Devils. That is, hello, the perfect book for me because I am a tinfoil hat head sometimes. It's about this girl that gets possessed. And she throws up. But Hello, I am Ivy, also known as Ivy the Geek Goddess, here on YouTube, and welcome to my 10 before the end. This is a list of 10 books that I want to read before the end of the year. Are there more than 10 books that I want to read before the end of the year? Yes, abso-freaking-lutely. Pretty much all of these books that you see on this shelf are books that I want to read before the end of the year. Now am I going to get to it? In my head, I feel like I could accomplish it, but in reality, no, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And I am just setting myself up for failure, I guess. I don't know. But for sure, I have to read these 10 at least. So even if I do fail all this, I don't feel so bad knowing that I read these. So let's get started with the books that I want to read before the end of the year.
Oh, hello, hi, it is me editing Ivy here. So I forgot to tell you guys about a little thing that I am adding here. It is called the readometer or the readometer. Anyways, you're going to see this little text popped up. So whenever you see the little readometer pop up, just know that that's just my way of rating how excited I am to dive into this book. Kind of like a little excitement scale from 1 to 10. So when you spot it, you'll know just how pumped I am to actually pick up the book and read it.
Okay, so the number one book that I definitely want to read before the end of the year, and I'm hoping that I read it before the end of this month, which is my Dungeons & Dragons themed readathon, is Roll for Romance, because this book is literally the perfect book to read for a Dungeons & Dragons themed readathon, because this is a romance book about two characters that play Dungeons & Dragons. So we are following our main character, Sadie Brooks, and Sadie Brooks decides she ends up getting laid off from her job, and she was living the life. Okay, she had a great job. She had a great place to live. Like her future was like set in stone. She was like, hell yeah, I am doing so good, until she lost it all. And so she ends up going to stay with her friend, who ends up being a dungeon master. And then he's like, hey, yeah, you can stay here rent-free for the summer, but in return, you're gonna have to play Dungeons & Dragons. And Sadie is like, okay, sure, whatever, dude, I'll play. And she ends up liking it a lot more than she anticipated. And so she ends up really getting invested into the story and really liking this one guy in particular. And so the two of them start to form this romance outside of D&D, but also along the D&D campaign. We are seeing their characters fall in love as well. And what I really like about this book is that you are seeing them fall in love in real life, but you're also following the Dungeons & Dragons campaign that they're playing, which is so freaking cool. I'm sorry, but you're getting a regular everyday romance while also getting the D&D campaign. Sign me up. Hell freaking yes. This is literally a book that was made for me, okay? I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to be a 5-star. The next book is one that I don't have a physical copy of. It is a book that is on my Kindle, and that is A Court of Sugar and Spice by Rebecca F. Kennedy. Now, this is a book that literally, you guys, if you guys have followed me on Goodreads, you guys would know that I have had this book. I have been currently reading this book for the past 2 years. 2 years I have been reading this book. And like, mind you, it is not even a very long book. I started reading this book after I was like after I started playing Baldur's Gate, and I started researching like books that contain a character love interest that is like Astarion. And I was like, and this book popped up, and I was deeply invested in this love story. It is very erotic. It is very romantic. And it was exactly what I wanted with somebody that reminded me of Astarion. And I really was enjoying it. However, I just never finished it And I don't know why. I literally have been picking this book on and off for over 2 years now, and I only pick it up when I'm not currently reading something, and B, when I'm laying down in bed and all the lights are off and it's dark. That's the book that I pick up. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. I really don't know why. So I still to this day have literally just picked it up not too long ago, maybe like less than a week ago. It was the last time that I decided to read 1 or 2 pages from it, but it is a long ongoing book that I just need to finally finish off. Especially how I already know that I really enjoy the story. And even though I've been reading it for 2 years, because I've been reading it for 2 years, I've had to remember everything that happens in the synopsis. And so, yes, even though started a long time ago, I still remember pretty much everything that's happened in the story because I feel like since I'm still reading it, I have to. And so I just need to finally wrap this up. I have to wrap it up. It is a nutcracker. I didn't even tell you what it's about. It's a spicy nutcracker retelling. That's all you need to know. The next book that I have to finish off is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. Now, this is a book that is in a ongoing reading vlog that I am currently still doing, where I literally did a lot of research, hours and hours of research, where I was watching a lot of booktubers, particularly high fantasy booktubers, like people that read mostly high fantasy. And I put together a list of the most recommended high fantasy for beginners because I have been wanting to get into high fantasy. And so I put together a list of the top books that they recommended the most, and Shadow of the Gods was one of the top ones that was highly recommended as a starting point to high fantasy. And even though, yes, I was, again, very much, you can see I even tabbed it, I was really enjoying this book, I just stopped because I had to prioritize other reading vlogs, and now I have this readathon, and so I had to put this down, not because I wanted to, but because I had other videos that I had to prioritize content, right? After this one, I only have like 1 other book to read and then I'm done. So hello, I just need to finish it. Okay, so the next one, this is a book that I have been waiting to read literally since last year, before it had a synopsis, before it had a cover. I have been putting this book on my list. I think that I don't know, I can't remember if I put it in my, I think I put it in my 25 most anticipated books. I can't remember if I made a video about it. I think I did mention it in a video last year where I was like, I need to read this, because all I knew about it is that it is a Lucifer and Lilith retelling. You don't need to tell me anymore. That already is, you've sold me. And so I have to, now that it's finally out, I still haven't gotten to it. And that is Terror at the Gates by Scarlett St. Clair. This is a dark romance retelling of Lucifer and Lilith, in which we are following Lilith as she escapes into this underground and is saved by Lucifer. It is their love story. It is literally like, I've been on the lookout for something like this, and I can't believe I never found it till now. So thank you, Scarlett St. Clair, for blessing me with this book. Ironic choice, the irony in those words, I know. But I really want to read this and hoping to get to it during November for the readathon. Speaking of devils, another book that I have to finish this year is The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. This is another book that I had for a reading vlog that was supposed to come out in October, but literally I filmed the bare minimum in October. I only read like 4 books, and not because I wanted to, but because I was so occupied planning out this readathon and making sure that everything was ready to go, that I ended up not being able to complete this reading vlog. But I was making a reading vlog where I read horror books and compare them to the movies. And I already read The Silence, which inspired the movie The Silence, that is also named The Silence, but it also, I believe, very loosely inspired A Quiet Place as well. So I read that one, and then I had this one, Carrie. The Ruins was another one that I already read. And I think there was one more and I can't think of it. But I really want to get to this. This is known to be one of the most terrifying books of all time. It is the original story of The Exorcist. So it has to be creepy. It has to be scary. And I read The Exorcist House, but I did not read the OG Exorcist. So obviously I need to get to it. And this book, do I really have to explain what it's about? It's about this girl that gets possessed
by a demon.
And she throws up. That's all I know from the movie. So next we have Love and Other Conspiracies by Mallory Marlowe. So we're following these two characters. We are following Hallie and we are following Hayden. So Hallie is a web series producer, and then Hayden is a conspiracy theorist who has an idea for a show where he's hunting for Bigfoot and all these different conspiracy theories. And so we are following these two characters, very different because we have the web producer, and I believe she's a skeptic, and I believe obviously he's a conspiracy theorist. And we're following them as they are making this conspiracy theory series together, while also slowly but surely starting to fall in love. So it is a romance with conspiracy theories at its core, and that is, the perfect book for me because I am a tinfoil hat head sometimes. Next, this is a book that I've been saying that I was going to read for 2 years now. And now I actually have a vlog that I want to read, that I want to put out, where I read this series and decide if it's really worth it. And that is none other than the Mistborn series, starting with The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. Now in this book, we are following a world where basically this series, I think, takes the theory of like what would happen if the bad guy won, and what would the world look like? And that is exactly what is happening here. We are following the world after a post-apocalyptic event, I guess, basically, because the bad guy won, and what it is like to live under his regime. Does it feel a little too close to home right now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the next book that I really want to read is one that I literally just found like a month ago, but I literally saw it and I was like, what the fudge is this? This is the most beautiful cover I've ever seen. The concept was freaking bonkers, and I'm like, I need this in my life. And that is Of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove. Nobody has been talking about this book, you guys, and I don't know why, because one, this cover is epic, and number two, the synopsis also sounds equally as epic, because we literally have vampires in outer space. Need I say more? This is a combination of horror, this is a combination of sci-fi, while kind of loosely reminding me of The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, which I am literally right in the middle of that book right now. But how that one we are following this misfit group of monsters, and this one we are also following a group of monsters. We're following Demeter as she is flying through outer space, and then eventually this monster group just kind of decides to unalive all the humans on Demeter's ship, and they take her aboard. And so now Demeter is trapped in this like ship in outer space with a vampire, a pharaoh, a werewolf, and what is the other guy? Oh, and a cheerful spider drone. And together they have to fight the ultimate evil, which is none other than Dracula. It sounds so funny, and it is a queer love story on top of that, okay? So we have queer love story, sci-fi, horror. Like, do I need anything else? Like, this literally sounds like the most perfect book, okay? I'm so excited for this. I don't, like, literally, the concept is so absurd. It literally, like, reminds me of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which I actually really freaking loved. I loved that movie so much. So I have no doubt in my mind that I'm going to love this crazy, absurd concept. Definitely feels very weird, but in a good way, and I cannot wait to get to dip my fangs into this. But and then 2 more books. Number 1 is The Entanglement of Rival Wizards. This is by Sarah Raasch. This is a very, again, Dungeons and Dragons themed sort of book. We are following these characters. One is a human and the other one is an elf. They have this arch rivalry going on, but that slowly turns into a romance. So we have these fantasy characters based off of different D&D races, and we see them together and enter this like kind of cozy fantasy LGBTQ plus romance. And I like literally, it just looks so good. The cover in itself, like, come on. This is literally one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen in my life. And then there's another, like, I can't remember if it was one sort of book. It was a bookish box edition of this cover that I'm going to put it here. Stunning. What the heck? Okay, so I just saw the cover and I'm like, I need this in my life. That's it. And so I have to read this, especially I have to read it this month specifically. And lastly, but certainly not least, this is a book that I have been wanting to read since it first came out. And that is Welcome to the Hyunam Bookshop by Hwang Bo-Reum. So this is at its core a cozy book. I don't know what this book is about. All I know is that it's about a cozy bookshop. Literally no idea. No, I don't know if it's fantasy. I don't know if it doesn't have any magic in it at all. And I quite frankly do not care, because all I know is that it is a cozy read. It is about a bookshop, and that's all I need to effing know. If it's anything like any cozy book, I know I'm gonna like it. It has such high reviews. Like I really want to go into this blindly, have no expectations for it, although I am expecting it to be 5 stars, so I guess I do have expectations for it. And I'm just waiting for it to just blow me away. And I also plan on reading this one this month because it is a cozy book, so it falls along the lines of my team trait for Team Druids. So that's it. Those are the 10 books that I need to read, my 10 before the end. So if you guys made it to the very end of the video, put some firework emojis to signify that it is close to the end of the year. Sad, sad. I am 1 year older, and when I was little, growing up, that was so much fun to know that I'm turning older, and now that I'm in my early 30s, I'm like, no, instead of being like, I'm turning older, I'm like, no, I'm turning older. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. If you haven't joined the Dungeons and Book Dragons readathon, definitely join it. I will put it down below. And if you guys happen to stumble upon this video after November, then please subscribe and stay tuned for next year's readathon. I hope to see you then. I hope to see you subscribed. And yeah, make sure to give this video a thumbs up because it really helps out my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will have the links down below for my I keep forgetting to mention I have an Instagram. I have a TikTok. I have an Instagram that I really want to focus on. So I will post that down below as well as my Goodreads, my Storygraph, and my Amazon wishlist, all down below. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.